What is up everyone, it is Sacred Saiyan here, welcoming you to the full story of What If Gohan Never Stopped Training. If you end up liking today's video, then please consider subscribing. It is free, and you can always unsubscribe later. There's a link in the description of the video to join my Discord server, and also to become a channel member if you want to support the channel. There's now a new channel member tier called Royal Blue, so if you want to support me, then that is definitely the best way to do so. And with all of that out of the way, let's get into the full story of What If Gohan Never Stopped Training. Gohan has just defeated Cell, and as a result of his arrogance, his father died in the process. But he takes comfort in knowing that his father trusts him enough to take care of Earth and everyone on it while he stays dead. With this knowledge, Gohan is determined to make Goku proud, and do just that. During the 7-year gap between Cell's death and the arrival of Bucchigiri, Gohan would vigorously train, but he wouldn't do it alone. He would have training partners like Goten, Piccolo, and sometimes even Vegeta, which would also allow him to spar with Trunks. Gohan training also boosts everyone else's power, especially Vegeta's, as aside from Goku, no one can keep up with him. However, Gohan is ahead of him, which gives him someone to beat that isn't dead. Gohan training would not affect his school life. While he knows his responsibility to the planet and the people on it, he also has a responsibility to himself. What he wants to do in life is become a scholar, and if going to high school will make that happen, then he'll do it. He will still go on to become the Golden Warrior and the Great Saiyan Man, which eventually leads to Videl finding out who he is. She would of course then extort him into becoming her training partner, which would then allow her to fly. At this point, Gohan already knows that Goten is able to go Super Saiyan instead of being surprised by it, as he was the one training Goten. This would cause Goten to get a sizable boost in power and experience. Eventually, Gohan participates in the World Martial Arts Tournament alongside all of the other Z fighters, and Goku, who decided to come back for a day. Most of the tournament will go about the same, with the exception of Goten vs Trunks. Due to Goten training longer with Gohan and being stronger, he's able to beat Trunks. Gohan still gets extremely angry at Spopovich for hurting Videl. He's able to control himself, but barely. He would then go on to fight Kibito, and Kibito would ask him to reveal his Super Saiyan transformation, which takes Gohan by surprise. How does he know what a Super Saiyan is? Gohan thinks to himself. Even though that thought lingers, Gohan decides to comply, and show off his Super Saiyan form, which at this time would be even stronger than his Super Saiyan 2 in canon. That's of course when Spopovich and Yame would rush to steal his energy. Gohan is about to take them both out, but Shin then uses his binding powers to keep him in place, allowing for his energy to be stolen. The Z fighters then learn of Bucchigiri and the plan to revive Majin Buu, something that they have to stop at all costs. So they all start flying, with Gohan following closely behind. Once they get there, Gohan is far more serious and ready to fight, as he realises that this is exactly what he's been preparing for all this time. He sees Dabura getting prepared to attack before anyone else, and is immediately on it. As soon as Dabura appears in front of Kibito, Gohan is in Super Saiyan, and he lands a punch straight to the face of Dabura, which sends him back, crashing into Bucchigiri's ship. The Demon King is taken aback. How could someone hurt him like that? Gohan then fires a blast at him, but Dabura is teleported out of there by Bucchigiri. They all then head inside, except this time, Kibito isn't dead, and Krillin and Piccolo aren't stone. Vegeta still fights Pui Pui, and basically demolishes him. Goku fights Yakon, and defeats him by using the light of the Super Saiyan. But he's able to regain his power quickly after, because of Kibito's ability to heal. Things start to change when Dabura finally steps up to fight Gohan. The Half Saiyan is ready to take the fight to him, and he isn't going to make the same mistake as he did with Cell. Gohan uses Super Saiyan 2, which puts him far beyond Dabura. He dominates the fight, punching Dabura so fast, but with so much force, that he's immobilized. Gohan fires a Kamehameha to take him out, and this time, he manages to land it, obliterating Dabura on the spot. Just then, Bucchigiri puts in the energy he got from Gohan into Buu's egg. That energy, paired with all of the energy gathered from the fight, is plenty to revive Majin Buu. Originally, Gohan's power filled in for half of the energy required to revive Majin Buu. With him being more than twice as strong, Buu is primed and ready to fight much sooner. Bucchigiri doesn't bother turning Vegeta into a Majin, as it isn't required. Buu's energy blows up the entire of Bucchigiri's ship. Goku and Kibito teleported everyone out of there, and they all look on, seeing Bucchigiri standing side by side with a pink blob. This is Majin Buu. Immediately, they all realise that he is not what they expected. Boo is a happy and jolly creature, but one with extreme power, enough to take out all of them if they fought separately, which is why they all need to take him on together. Even Goten and Trunks start to fly from the tournament grounds as they sense the immense power. Gohan, Goku and Vegeta all power up into Super Saiyan 2 and collectively take on Boo, with Piccolo and the rest staying back, knowing they'd only get in the way. They aren't coordinated at all. Their teamwork basically backfires as they only mess each other up. With Vegeta's increased strength, he's able to keep up with the both of them, being just as strong as he was with the Martian power-up. But still, every time they hurt Boo, he just regenerates and gets ready to fight again. While they're tiring out, he keeps getting back up. Gohan suggests that all of them together should fire a collective beam at Boo. It might be enough to take him out for good. Goten and Trunks then arrive, rushing in without thinking and landing a nice combo on Boo, which sends him flying back. They realise what's happening, but they refuse to leave. Alongside Piccolo and Krillin, the two of them distract Boo, long enough for Gohan, Vegeta and Goku to charge up their attacks. With 2 Kamehamehas and a final flash at full power, all of them fire their attacks at Boo, who tries to counter with his own attack, the Vanishing Beam. The attacks collide together, going back and forth, but nothing's decided yet. They might not be enough to defeat Boo, but just then, Goku's power began to spike immensely, and his hair grows out. He powers up into Super Saiyan 3 and gives the push that's needed to beat Boo. The Martian is obliterated, and Piccolo deals with Bobbidi, cutting him in half. Gohan and Vegeta are amazed by Goku's power. Surprisingly, even using this new level, he isn't far ahead of Gohan. But they all do have a tournament to get back to, which they do. Without being able to use Super Saiyan, the winner would be Gohan, and this eventually leads to Goku heading back to Otherworld, remaining dead, while Gohan and Vegeta are left to train up and figure out a way to further their power. Vegeta would find the Room of Spirit and Time as a good way to train every now and then. This is expected of him, as it is something he would do quite often in Dragon Ball Super. Gohan, on the other hand, has no idea how to further improve. Sure, he can continue to train with Piccolo and Goten, but at some point, that training just isn't as effective anymore. This leads to Gohan asking Kaioshin if he could by chance train on his planet. He thinks that maybe training under someone with that stature may be his best chance of getting stronger, now that he's hit a wall. And with Shin's ability to use the Kaikai, he's able to bring Gohan back and forth from the Earth whenever he needs. He also still gets plenty of time to study, and finally get with Videl, which leads to their eventual marriage. The actual training would go about the same, with Gohan pulling out the Z-Sword. Though he is able to do it much easier, Goku would eventually realise that Gohan is training on Shin's world, and as we saw him during the main canon, he is able to use instant transmission to get to him. Father and son are reunited, and Gohan basically does this for the next 4 years, training with Goku and using the Z-Sword. Of course, at some point during that training, they would test the power of the Z-Sword, which would result in it breaking and releasing the Elder Kai. Even with no immediate threat that requires Gohan's potential to be unlocked, Elder Kai would give it to him just because Gohan's the reason he was able to get out of the sword. He also offers it to Goku, but he would refuse, as Goku doesn't take handout power-ups. He would much rather train for it. At this point, Gohan would be far stronger than his initial self, and eventually, the God of Destruction Beerus would wake up. He's dreamt of a Saiyan God, and he's going to find exactly that. When asking Whis if there's any Saiyans left alive after Frieza destroyed the planet, he receives quite an intriguing answer. Beerus learns that Frieza was killed by a Saiyan who turned into a so-called Super Saiyan, but they are now dead. However, they are now training on Kaioshin's world alongside another Saiyan. There's also 3 Saiyans on Earth, which includes a former Prince Vegeta, 2 on Vampa, and one that is significantly weaker than the rest, known as Tarbal. Beerus is surprised that a handful of them managed to survive, and of course, the one he leans most towards are the 2 that are training under Shin. If anyone could be a Super Saiyan god, it might be those training under a god. After destroying some planets and enjoying cuisine, Beerus heads out to meet with Goku and Gohan. Elder Kai and Shin had sensed his presence and knew he was awake. What they didn't expect was what he was going to next, and they are terrified to learn that he's come to their world, especially because Goku's with them. Beerus is surprised to see Elder Kai still kicking around. He's extremely angry at what Beerus did to him, but decides that it's probably best if he acts with respect, as to not get trapped again. Gohan also presents himself in a great manner, donning the Kai's clothes, giving Beerus an impression that he might be a Kai trainee perhaps. But Gohan debunks this theory, and tells Beerus he's just here to train. Goku also immediately provokes Beerus into fighting with him, as he wants to test out his strength. Being dead, and having trained with Gohan for nearly 4 years, Goku is far more powerful than his canon counterpart. He's also managed to master Super Saiyan 3, which he fights Beerus with, barely being able to land a single blow. Beerus moves around him with great ease, defeating him with just a single attack. He then looks to Gohan and says, "I hope you aren't as disappointing." Gohan stands firmly in front of Beerus, powering up into Ultimate, which he immediately notices is far stronger than that Super Saiyan form that Goku used. Gohan and Beerus then start to fight, exchanging punches. Gohan is actually able to keep up, and strike Beerus more times than the god would like. Beerus starts to drip a little blood down his mouth, but he knows it's just because he's holding back heavily. Beerus starts to unleash some of his power, and gets the upper hand on Gohan quite easily. He's able to overpower him, landing multiple brutal punches to his gut, and kicking him down into the dirt. Beerus flies down, and picks Gohan up by the shirt. Disappointing. He fires a point-blank blast at Gohan, knocking him down and out. Beerus then turns around, seeing both Saiyans on the ground, smirking, and leaving for Earth. Kibito heals both Goku and Gohan. The two now have to come up with a plan to stop Beerus, and also find out how they are going to make this Super Saiyan god appear. For now, they just hope Vegeta can hold Beerus off. Beerus arrives on Earth, the god taking a liking to the people of Earth, joining in on their festivities, and forgetting about the Super Saiyan god for the time being, while Vegeta keeps him happy. But of course eventually, it comes up, and Beerus starts to fight, and destroy everybody, eventually leading to Vegeta taking him on. With his time in the hyperbolic time chamber, and training heavily in general, he's managed to also unlock Super Saiyan 3. But Beerus has already seen this before, and is tired of it. While Vegeta puts up a great fight, just like Goku and Gohan, he's soon on the floor. It's then that Gohan arrives back to Earth, wearing his father's gi, and he says he knows how to summon a Super Saiyan god. Having the Dragon Balls already collected, Gohan simply asks Bulma if he could use them to make the wish, which of course she lets him do, and they find out how they can make a Super Saiyan god. Of course, this results in Videl revealing she's pregnant, but that still only leaves them with 5 Saiyans. It's then that Vegeta mentions he had a brother, but he doesn't know where he is. Whis asks if it's someone named Tarbell, to which Vegeta's confused. "Yes, how do you know him?" "Oh, I've done a bit of research on you Saiyans," replies Whis. Beerus snarls, telling Whis to go and grab him, as his patience is running thin. Soon, Tarbell and Vegeta are reunited, and they start doing the ritual, turning Gohan into a Super Saiyan god. The following fight would be a spectacle, with Gohan being so powerful, Goku and Vegeta seem like ants in comparison. Though, the only hurdle he has to overcome is Beerus. Somehow, the god of destruction is still overpowering him, even with this newfound power. A simple collision between their fists is enough to wipe out nearby planets, and shake the entire universe. Gohan and Beerus go back and forth, until they end up in space, and Gohan is dropped down into Super Saiyan. But for some reason, he feels all of the strength he had before. He somehow managed to acquire the power of a Super Saiyan god in his regular Super Saiyan form. With this revelation, Gohan decides to power up further into Ultimate. This gives him a monstrous boost in power, and it even catches Beerus off guard. But eventually, the god gets tired, and fires a supernova at Gohan, who has to stop it from reaching Earth. He puts all of his might and power into it, trying to push it back with a Kamehameha, but it's just not enough. That's when he hears Videl's voice, crying out to him, "Save us, come home." Gohan screams, as his Kamehameha starts to get larger and larger, large enough to overpower the ball of fire headed for Earth. Beerus tries to blast it forward, but the beam explodes, sending Gohan crashing back to the atmosphere and down onto Earth. Vegeta catches him, and Videl and Chi-Chi rush to his aid. "You did well, Gohan. Maybe with more training, you might get on my level someday." Beerus decides not to destroy Earth. He instead instructs Whis to take them away, and so he does. A few months pass, and Vegeta heads off to train on Beerus World, where he would eventually learn to use God Ki, and unlock both Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. Gohan continues to train with Shin and perfect Super Saiyan God. It'll be around this time that Piccolo decides he's fallen behind and goes with Gohan to train under Shin, getting his potential unlocked. Gohan and Piccolo train for quite some time together, until Gohan realizes that if he wants to keep getting stronger, he needs to move up. Therefore, he has Shin teleport him to Beerus' world, where he trains alongside Vegeta under Whis. Now having a training partner, Vegeta would start to see a further increase in strength, with Gohan unlocking Super Saiyan Blue and Piccolo continuing to train under Shin. But a new threat rises to challenge them, in the form of the Emperor, Frieza. Some of the soldiers had found their way to Earth, and used Shenron to revive what was left of Frieza. After being healed up, he trained for 4 months, and once he unlocked his golden form, Frieza headed to Earth and challenged the FighterZ. The humans fight to the best of their ability, with Goten and Trunks even helping, though Togema and Shisame are far too much for them. That's when Piccolo arrives, and in Ultimate, he's able to take them both out with just a single punch. He then faces off against Frieza. He knows that he's strong enough to make Frieza truly pay for what he did to his fellow Namekians in the past. He couldn't do it before, but he believes he's strong enough now. In Ultimate, first form Frieza feels like a joke. Piccolo is able to swiftly beat him into transforming to his 4th form. That's when he starts to face challenges. It seems that Frieza has gotten exponentially stronger than their last encounter. The fight seems more even now, and Frieza might even have the edge. Piccolo tries using his cloning technique to throw Frieza off, but the Emperor is able to defeat them all. Eventually, he has the advantage, as Frieza fires multiple death beams at Piccolo. One for his arm, another for his leg, and the last one is about to pierce his heart when Gohan shows up, slapping it away. Gohan has an angered look on his face. He gives a senzu to Piccolo, telling him to rest up, as he will deal with this. Vegeta wants to do the classic rock paper scissors to decide who fights, but Gohan isn't having it. He powers up into Super Saiyan Blue without saying a word, appearing behind Frieza. Do you think you stand a chance? Gohan punches Frieza so hard that he's sent flying for miles without being able to stop himself. Gohan then charges behind Frieza, kicking him into the ground before proceeding to fire multiple ki blasts. Gohan isn't messing around. Frieza miraculously survives and tells Gohan that he has a new form. He says, "You wouldn't kill me before seeing my full power, would you, monkey?" Gohan smiles. "Yes, I would." He appears in front of Frieza, landing a thunderous blow to his stomach, which causes the Emperor to fall down on his knees and cough up an immense amount of blood. Gohan then charges up a blast. "It's over, Frieza!" He fires it and kills the Emperor for good. After this, Gohan realizes that he might need to stay on Earth for a while, in case something like this happens again. So instead of going off to train on Beerus' planet, he instead trains on Earth with Goten, Trunks and Piccolo, increasing his and their strength greatly. Of course, after some time, Champa and Beerus would have their encounter, which leads to the Tournament of Destroyers, for which they need 5 fighters. Luckily, everyone Vegeta needs to get is in the same spot. Gohan, Piccolo, Goten, Trunks and Vegeta are the members of this team. Vegeta trains in the Realm of Spirit and Time with Gohan for only a year, as Gohan doesn't want to push his body that much, and remembers the lesson Goku taught him way back against Cell. Your mind and body also need to rest if you want to grow stronger. So while Vegeta does 3 years of training, Gohan does just 1. Eventually, the tournament will come around, and Gohan is the first up, beating Batame with his quick thinking by punching him enough times to make him lift up, after which he tosses Batame out of the ring. Frost seems like a genuinely nice person, but Gohan is here to win, and beats Frost without allowing him to go past his first form. The next fighter is Vegeta, which Gohan struggles to deal with, but after learning of the weakness, Gohan shouts out his best insults and knocks Vegeta out. Gohan takes a liking to Kaba, but isn't a good enough teacher, so he isn't able to help Kaba unlock Super Saiyan. But he has a good fight and beats him. Lastly, there's Hit, someone who is far different than anyone else. Gohan uses Super Saiyan God and charges right for him, but before he knows it, Hit moves out of the way and uses one hand to knock Gohan onto the floor. Gohan leaps backwards, powering up into Blue and trying to speed up and throw him off by coming from various angles, but Hit dodges everything, punching Gohan back and onto the floor. Gohan's confused. How is he doing this? But he takes a moment to think and goes all out, powering up into Ultimate before starting to use his mind while he fights. Instead of focusing solely on strength, he starts to pick up on what Hit's doing, predicting the moves he's going to make before he makes them. and when he finds the pattern, he doesn't give Hit the time he needs to improve it. Gohan full sends, launching a barrage of punches and kicks, curve stomping Hit into the ground before kicking him nearly out of the ring. Gohan fires a Masenko to distract Hit. He gets busy trying to push it back, but he doesn't realise that Gohan is above him, powering up another full power Kamehameha, which uses to knock Hit out of the ring. Unfortunately for Hit, Gohan doesn't have a stamina problem like Goku did, which allows him to win this fight. Zeno would arrive shortly after to meet with Gohan, but unlike Goku, he treads carefully and makes sure not to say something stupid as advised by Beerus. They all then head back to Earth, living peacefully until future Trunks comes back, bloodied and bruised. Bulma treats him, as Vegeta arrives with Gohan and Piccolo, following with a Senzu Bean. They are all concerned. Why would Trunks come back? The Senzu Bean does its magic, and as Trunks awakens, he immediately checks his surroundings, before seeing Gohan and lunging for him, powering up into Super Saiyan and striking him with his strongest punch. Gohan blocks it, now extremely confused, but Vegeta would step in front of Trunks. It's then that he realises that he's made it back to the past. Trunks explains the atrocities that occurred, which caused him to come back. After stopping the revival of Majin Buu, he was immediately met with a brand new threat. Someone who only appeared in the shadows and quickly grew to be a threat to the world. He had many encounters with this mysterious person they referred to as Black, until today. He and his mother managed to gain enough fuel to travel back to the past, but Black attacked them and took her life. He had no choice but to run, but before he left, he saw Black's face. Trunks then points to Gohan, with tears in his eyes. It was you. Gohan and everyone else is taken aback. How could it be him? This doesn't make any sense. Trunks agrees, and says that's why he came back to the past. He needs their help. Just then, a portal opens up in the sky, and Gohan Black walks through it. Considering whose face it is, Gohan is the one to go up and challenge him. Gohan powers up into Super Saiyan God, and easily has the upper hand on Black, but that's not his goal here. He tries to ask him questions that may lead to them finding out about his identity, but Black is careful. He doesn't reveal anything. After a short fight, in which Gohan dominates, Black is sucked back through the portal. He tries to blast the time machine, but Gohan is able to reflect it back to him, which hurts Black even more. When he returns to the future, Black has increased his power once more after being healed, and he has even unlocked a new transformation. Beerus and Whis would of course have noticed the time ring, but they start their own investigation separately, going to Supreme Kai's world, where they meet with Goku once more. The four of them head off to meet with Universe 10's Kai, Gowasu and Zamasu, all while Gohan, Vegeta and Trunks head back to the future, and challenge Gohan Black once more. As they arrive, Gohan sees the destruction that Black left in its wake. How could someone do this? He questions. Soon, they encounter Black again, with Vegeta taking charge this time. He powers up into Super Saiyan Blue and starts to fight Black. At first, it seems that he has the advantage, but the fight very quickly shifts in Black's favour. He powers up, revealing his new transformation, Super Saiyan Rose. Before Vegeta knows it, he has a keyblade through his chest, and he's on the ground. Gohan grunts and has to go all out this time, powering up into Ultimate and starting to fight Black. The two of them are almost identical in power, but Gohan still has the advantage in skill set. He's able to punch Black through multiple buildings, but unfortunately for him, Black grows immensely just through fighting. Soon, Trunks will try and intervene after healing Vegeta, but Zamasu shows up, and now they are all on the fence and are forced to escape. Vegeta heads off to train in the time chamber like he did initially, while both Gohan and Trunks train on their own and heal up. On the other hand, Goku, Beerus, Whis and Shin have met with Zamasu. Goku even has a spar with him, but eventually, they realise Zamasu's true intentions, and Beerus erases him with the Hakai. The group head back for round 2, in hopes of stopping Black and Zamasu this time. With Vegeta's increased strength, he takes on Gohan Black, and is able to absolutely pummel him for some time. Gohan and Trunks would take on Zamasu. Luckily, while he is immortal, for the most part he's still pretty weak in comparison to them, so they are able to keep him at bay. But Black, on the other hand, is getting exponentially stronger by the minute. He would realise his own potential as a Saiyan, and especially a Saiyan in Gohan's body. Again, Vegeta is on the ground, and Zamasu is dealing with Trunks, so it's up to Gohan to take on Black. He tries his best in Super Saiyan Blue, attempting everything he can, firing ki blasts, using techniques, but he always ends up on the ground. Gohan refuses to give up, and continues to try and hurt Black, but eventually, he's pinned against a wall, with Black's blade going through his side. It's then that Black decides to tell Gohan a little story of how he acquired his body. He tells Gohan that he made a wish on Super Shenron to swap his body with the one known as Son Gohan, and then he went to Earth, and made his wife and daughter watch as he killed him, and then he proceeded to kill them as well, while they begged for mercy. This breaks Gohan. His aura explodes in a new energy, as he screams with newfound power under his belt. Gohan first powers up into Ultimate, and then his eyes turn red and his hair turns white. Gohan punches Black through several buildings, sending him flying for miles. He appears above Zamasu and pummels him into the ground, but he then follows by firing a Kamehameha, sending Zamasu into the core of the planet. He's held there for a while Gohan flies forward and deals with Black. He punches him over and over again, until his face is nothing but blood and bones. He doesn't stop to recognize what he's doing. Gohan simply flies up and fires a blast to kill Black, which he does successfully. Zamasu flies up, realizing what he's just done. "No, my plan. You will all die." He doesn't get another word in, because Trunks takes his sword for his arm. Gohan tells Vegeta and Trunks to go and find a way to seal Zamasu, or take away his immortality. But just then, Shen and Gowasu arrive, explaining that it's been done. They use the time ring to go back and collect the Super Dragon Balls, wishing for Zamasu's immortality to be taken. Gohan proceeds to kill Zamasu, and then he falls to the ground, unconscious. Trunks gives him a Senzu Bean, and they're all a bit concerned as to what the mystery transformation was. But Gohan will figure it out. But for now, he goes back to his own timeline, and hugs his wife and daughter, promising to himself that he will never let them die. Some time would pass, but eventually, a new challenge is presented for the Z Fighters to face. The Tournament of Power. With Zeno not having future Zeno with him, he's basically bored all the time. But he remembers that one tournament thing that Beerus and Champa did. He wants to see something like that again, but bigger. So he gets a Grand Priest to organise a tournament with all the universes. Of course, some of them would get exempt due to their high mortal levels, but this doesn't include Universe 7. Gohan would become team captain like originally, and start to form a team. The first picks are pretty simple. He needs muscle, so Vegeta, Piccolo, Android 17, and Android 18. He also needs some people who think logically, and have techniques that could help them, so he gets Krillin, Roshi, and Tien. They have 2 spots left, but Gohan and Vegeta agree that Goten and Trunks are not mature enough or skilled enough to take place in this tournament, especially considering the fact that their universe is on the line. Without fusion, it makes them even worse to put on the team. This is when Beerus steps in, and picks the last 2 fighters for them. Gohan's father Goku, and Frieza. Both picks take Gohan back. His dad and Frieza are both dead, and Goku can't come back for a day, as he already did a few years ago. To add on, he also refuses to put Frieza on the team, but Beerus isn't asking. He tells Whis to get Goku from Shin's world. When he does, Goku no longer has his halo. What they didn't know was that Whis had the ability to bring people back from the dead. So for their universe, Goku was brought back to life, which is a big plus for everyone. Would reluctantly go and get Frieza alongside Goku, and this basically means they have the same team as in canon. In the actual tournament, I see most things going the same. Even without God Ki, Goku is still pretty strong. He's basically trained without breaks for over a decade. Without Caulifla and Kale having Super Saiyan, Goku was able to beat both of them after using Super Saiyan 2. He would want to take on Jiren, but he realises that maybe he isn't strong enough for that, so he would focus on the other Universe 11 fighters, like Toppo. Unfortunately for Goku, without God Ki, Toppo may be too strong for him also, but eventually, Toppo has him on the ground. He then tries something he's been working on for a while, stacking Kaioken with Super Saiyan 3 on top, and is able to speed past Toppo and escape. Frieza laughs, mocking Goku for how weak he's become. Gohan would eventually take on Jiren this time around, considering he's the strongest. Their fight would be nearly identical to his fight with Goku in canon. However, even though Gohan doesn't have Kaioken, he doesn't need it. He's able to make Jiren try with just Super Saiyan Blue. But when Jiren reveals more of his power, Gohan is pushed back. Gohan then utilising Ultimate to unleash the rest of his power, which puts him above Jiren for a little bit, but Jiren still has more in the tank. He continuously beats down on Gohan, not letting Gohan get out a single punch. He picks Gohan up by the hair and blasts him out of the ring, but just in time, Piccolo uses his stretchy arms to save Gohan. Gohan then looks at Jiren, realising he has to go all out, but he still doesn't have control over that form he got earlier. What he does know is that it'll come to him if he's on the brink of defeat. So he goes on a suicide mission. Putting his faith in himself, Gohan charges for Jiren once more, and immediately ends up on the ground. But just then, his hair turns white and his eyes turn red. His aura grows in size again, and he pushes back Jiren with the power coming off of him. Jiren now starts to get serious. Where did this come from? He and Gohan fight on par, with Jiren being forced to reveal more and more of his power, and Gohan relentlessly beating him down. But of course, like all new transformations, Gohan isn't able to keep this up for long. He falls out of it, and Jiren charges a blast to send him out once more. But Goku kicks Gohan out of the way, taking the brunt of it, and getting knocked out. He knows that Gohan is the only hope of survival, so it was worth taking the bullet. Eventually, they fight Universe 4, but unlike originally, Piccolo would survive this time. They would then fight Universe 3's Zanny Laza, who they defeat with a collective blast. It eventually comes down to a final showdown between Universe 7 and Universe 11, where Frieza takes on Dispo, 17 and Piccolo take on Toppo, and Gohan and Vegeta take on Jiren. With all fights commencing, there are bound to be some losses. Frieza is able to keep up with Dispo, but it's hard to knock him off, so 17 intervenes and is able to trap Dispo in a bubble. But this left Piccolo all alone to fight Toppo, and even with Ultimate, he isn't a match. 17 and Frieza fight Toppo like they originally did, with him eventually using his God of Destruction form and destroying both of them. While this is happening, Gohan and Vegeta are trying their hardest to take down Jiren. He seems like an immense wall of power. Gohan knows he needs to tap into that form again, but he just can't. However, Vegeta breaks through his own wall, unlocking Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. He's taken aback when Toppo tries to fight him, realising the transformation he's gone through, so they both got stronger. Now it's time to find out who's more powerful. Vegeta expresses his disgust in Toppo for throwing away what he stood for. He shouts that his power comes from his values, not by throwing them away. Vegeta unleashes a final explosion, which sends Toppo out of the ring, and leaves him bruised. Now, it's Gohan, Vegeta, 17 and Frieza against Jiren. Finally, Jiren decides to take it up a few notches. Everything they try just feels like it doesn't do anything. They try combining their attacks, but he's able to just power through them. They all end up on the ground, with 17 standing firmly in front. He tries to block Jiren's attack, but he ends up sacrificing himself in the process. Seeing the death of his friend causes Gohan to break through the wall once again, and unlock Beast Gohan. While Gohan fights Jiren, who has now gone all out, Vegeta and Frieza provide support. With Jiren having fought everyone for so long, he's starting to wear out, but Gohan's power just keeps increasing constantly. He roars, kicking Jiren to the edge of the ring, before standing side by side with Vegeta and Frieza, as the three fire their strongest attacks to knock him out. And with this combo attack, Universe 7 has finally won. As a reward, Frieza is revived, and Gohan gets a wish, which he uses to bring back everyone that was erased. With the Tournament of Power over, we get a long period of peace, until Frieza strikes again. Vegeta's angry at Beerus and Whis for reviving Frieza as per usual. Now that Goku's revived, he spent some time learning God Ki, and training to unlock Super Saiyan God and Blue. But he's still not closing in on Gohan and Vegeta. Frieza, on the other hand, has just found the perfect weapon to defeat the Saiyans with. He knows that Brat Gohan has immense power and potential, but he thinks he just found someone with even more of that, Broly. After learning of his backstory through Paragus, Frieza plays them into thinking he's on their side, and leads them to Earth, where Gohan, Goku and Vegeta get ready to fight. Broly arrives, with Vegeta and Goku fighting first. Meanwhile, Gohan takes on Frieza and Paragus. Utilising Ultimate, he's able to best them both pretty easily, but he doesn't kill them. However, seeing Gohan beat up his father got Broly kinda mad, so he starts to power up, and Frieza, seeing the opportunity, would blast Paragus, killing him. Broly would think that Gohan did this, and after powering up into Super Saiyan, he charges right for him. Vegeta and Goku are both thrown back, and Gohan takes the full force of Broly's attacks, which for a while take him by storm. Gohan's getting absolutely destroyed. Even when using Ultimate, Broly drags his face across the ice, and he throws him through mountains, using blasts from his mouth to heavily damage him. Gohan has had enough, and starts to power up as well. Between the Tournament of Power and now, he's managed to get a grasp on his new form. He calls himself Beast Gohan. Gohan is surrounded by a magenta aura, and before Broly knows it, Gohan is in front of him, punching him into the ground, and realising his uncontrolled power, Goku tries to end the fight quickly, but Broly continues to get stronger. Eventually, his hair turns green, and he and Gohan are once again on par. Both go punch for punch. Gohan kicks Broly back, leaping backwards and charging a Kamehameha. He fires it, but it's matched with a powerful eraser cannon. Goku and Vegeta join in, and the blast goes back and forth. Gohan lets his blast go and jumps back, firing a special beam cannon which pierces through Broly's arm. Goku and Vegeta pass out as Gohan takes the fight once more, now having the upper hand on Broly just through the control he has on his power, something Broly doesn't have. Uncontrollable power is laughable in comparison to great power and great control. Gohan jumps behind Broly, kicking him up and firing a Masenko to send him out into the atmosphere. He flies up and stomps Broly back into the ground, now charging a full power Kamehameha. It may kill him, or it may not. Gohan has to take a gamble on this. Gohan fires a blast, and as it connects, Broly is teleported away by Chilai and Lemo. Gohan then powering down, and starting to fall. He exerted far too much power. Goku catches him, and they all take Senzus, healing them to full. The three of them are extremely surprised at the power that Broly guy had, but even more surprised that Gohan was able to fight on par with him. Goku looks at his son, saying, "I'm proud of you, Gohan." Gohan smiles back, knowing that the promise he made to himself after the Cell Games has been fulfilled tenfold. He then flies away, and that's where our story comes to an end. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then make sure to like, comment, and please do subscribe. It is quick and easy to do. Also, I want to give a huge thank you to Star Knight, by the way, Alpha Nerd, All Might, Boldemir Garcia, Camo Ren, and Jonathan Way for becoming channel members. If you want to be shouted out at the end of a video, and get other perks like the channel members here, then there is a link in the description down below to become a channel member. It greatly supports me, and it helps me immensely. With all that out of the way, hope to see you all in the next video.